Thank you for browsing page 121. Today I'm going to take a look at a traveler adventure done under the TAS label. Basically, TAS is that you can write your own traveler adventures, and then you acknowledge the traveler is owned by Mongoose or Mark Miller. I'm not positive which one holds it right now. I believe it's Mongoose. And you agree you don't have any rights to it, but here's an adventure you've written, and you can actually sell them on Drive-Thru RPG. And that's what this one is. And the author apparently watches my channel and reached out to me and said, "Hey, I've written a traveler adventure in Taz. Would you take a look at it?" And I said, "Sure." By the way, just a quick FYI, just because I agree to read over an adventure does not mean I necessarily agree to do a review of it. I generally I have some pretty strict standards as far as what I'll review, what I won't. And rule number one is I have to have thought it was a good product. And that's only my opinion. I understand that. It's the only one I can have. So, that being said, who watches the actors? From the Weeping Stag imprint, written, designed, and laid out by Clark Nichols. This is an interesting adventure. I love this tagline. She's watching out for you. Are you watching her? You're dealing with a planet that is run by an egomaniacal young woman, who fancies herself being very talented at writing and acting, in addition to overthrowing governments. And it's a whimsical, funny adventure. And I have to tell you, I went into this and went, oh, funny, oh, yike. For me, that's almost always the kiss of death for an adventure, when the author promises me funny. It rarely lands. This one did. I could see this one being a lot of fun. It's designed for 2 or 3 sessions. We get some nice author's notes there. As always with adventures, I will not be going all the way through the adventure, but I will tell you a little bit about the adventure itself. We get the author's notes, and we're dealing with a planet called Lua Nina and its crazy dictator, Jane. And this character or an NPC from his home game, that he thought, hey, why not? I could add this in. This deals with a soap opera called My Heart of Flame. And My Heart of Flame is mandatory watching on Lua Nina because the dictator says so. The dictator herself produces, writes, does some music for, and appears in this soap opera, and through the soap opera itself will hand down some edicts and new laws and things she's determined that everybody will just love. So she'll be, and he gives a really good example in here where she's in the middle, there's a middle of a scene, and then she just kind of comes on as this narrator, overvoiced Deus Ex Machina type, and then hands down an edict. And I really laughed. I was surprised. I laughed out loud when I read the premise and I read the little scene that we were given. It's very soap opera, very well written for a soap opera, and then we get that surprise edict coming down that can affect the lives of just about everybody on the planet. Interestingly, this soap opera is also mandatory viewing nightly. Author doesn't say if it's 7 days a week or not, but I imagine it is. We are encouraged in this adventure to take it lightly, to have some whimsy with it and enjoy yourself. And I read it with that eye, and I have to say, I could see running this as a Gamma World type, take all the stops out, have some fun type of adventure. You can easily do this adventure without a single shot being fired or punch being thrown. You can easily do this entirely through role-playing. And for the role-playing, you'll have need for bribery and your streetwise and stealth and all kinds of other skills, and having gun combat and hand-to-hand combat is always very helpful, but you don't necessarily have to have it. It starts on Milton Station, which is your everywhere station. This space station can be placed just about anywhere in your travel universe that you want. You are looking for a washed-up B to C list pop star who likes to party, and you've been commissioned by his BWAPS agent, whose name I'm not even going to try to pronounce, but the author does, and I'll get to that in a moment. But this BWAPS pays you a fee. You go find this guy, drag him out of the gutter, bring him back to for a gig that he's scheduled for through this agent. So that's kind of a neat premise right there. I liked it. You end up looking for this guy in a bar crawl. You have to find your way around the station looking for this guy in the various bars. It's got nice little sidebars that tell us what this guy did, and it gives a progression, which I thought was a nice innovation, where it gives a progression of the story. You go from this to this, this to this, but it's not Railroad. You can do anything you want in this game, and you can make this as silly or as serious as you want to make it. So if your players are looking for just they need a break from the death-defying campaign they just finished, and you don't want to run a Saving the Galaxy kind of game, this is a real nice interim break game. And the author says he recommends it for 2 to 3 nights, and I could absolutely see that. But also, if you just wanted to do this as a one-nighter, you absolutely could. You end up looking around the various bars, and then you end up going to Lua Nina, which is the planet. It's an amber zone because it has a dictator named Jane Hernandez. They overthrew the megacorp that was running it, Opti Mineral Solutions. They overthrew that megacorp, and she took over. And Jane fancies herself the best at everything. God's gift to the universe, just ask her. And most of our stuff, once we're on Lua Nina, set us in New Bakersfield. And then we got a nice breakdown of the city districts and what does what where and everything. That's as far in the adventure as I'm going to go. I like this. This is a nice full world that you can flesh out yourself. You get a nice little space station out of it too. You get no real maps, unfortunately. I get it. It's a page count issue, but you don't get any maps for the city, for the mansion where some of this is going to be taking place when you're finding this guy, or for the space station itself. And I get it. It's a page count thing. So I absolutely, as a GM, can draw up my own maps, and I'm not too worried about it, and it didn't take away from my enjoyment of the adventure. I loved Jane Hernandez. I love the idea of a young, attractive woman being this heartless dictator who is going to make you watch her soap opera nightly, and she's going to hand down governmental edicts through this medium. I thought that was a really clever idea. The author did a video for this that's available on YouTube. I'll attach a link to it, where he talks about his thought process and how he came up with this scenario and who this character was in his game and stuff. And if you follow the scenario where you get the actor and you get him back to his agent, you get the standard reward. If you choose not to, you find that you might have a patron in Jane Hernandez. So it's a couple interesting ways you can go with this. This literally can change your campaign. You can get in with this woman who likes to have artifacts to adorn her palace, and she might commission you to go acquire them, legally or illegally, and bring them back to her for a reward. Keeping in mind, she's also nuts. So you're taking your career in your hands, not to mention your life, if you start actually interacting with her and routinely coming back to this planet. There will come a point where you won't be the favored, and she will just discard you. And that is a really nice thing that's brought out too. By the way, the artwork in this book I really enjoyed. I didn't give any credit to the artwork. Let's take a look. Artwork is... let's see. The art is by Dean Spencer, Henry Karpinen, Indy Martin, J.E. Shields, and Mark Shooting. I apologize to anybody if I got your name wrong. It's never intentional. But this is pretty nice. I think this is a fun adventure. It's $4 on DriveThruRPG. It's a 24-page count. It's nicely laid out. It's nicely thought out. I absolutely enjoyed this. I had actually noticed this on DriveThruRPG, looking through various Traveler things, and was kind of intrigued by this anyway. So when the author sent it to me, I was absolutely thrilled. I mean, it was a good adventure. But like I said, this one was already on my radar because I liked the look of it. And I love the tagline. She's watching out for you. Are you watching her? A reference to watching her soap opera nightly. But that's it. That's just a quick look at who watches the actors from Weeping Stag Press, written by Clark Nichols. Clark, nice job. I really enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to your next adventure. I'd like to see more from Weeping Stag Press. I really think this is worth having, and I'm very excited to have it back in my library. think I alluded to it, but I don't think I absolutely stated it. But this was sent to me by the author to take a look at, and I want to thank him for that, and I really enjoyed it. So there you have it. If you have any comments, please leave them below. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. We're going to be taking a look at some other Traveler stuff this week, coming back from our Monster Week for D&D last week. And I asked the question in one of the Monster Week videos if there was any interest in doing these week theme videos, or if everybody prefers the semi-random schedule that I've been doing. So let me know your thoughts on that. I'm not saying I'm going to go to one form or the other. In fact, I probably won't. I'll mix them. But I just want to know if there's any interest in these theme weeks. But thank you for watching, and I appreciate your time, and I'll see you next time on page 121.